Oh, technology. Good morning, everyone. My name is Athena Salazar, and I'm the Chief Possibility Officer with Life to Design. And I am so happy and so excited about what we're going to be talking about today. We have fellow Back to Business, Back to Basics co-founders here talking about government contracts. So Bill and Mimi have been working with government contracts for over 6 years, and they're really the experts on how to get prepared. I know for me, I'm like, I have no idea, and I really want to learn. So I'm really excited about bringing us together today to talk about this. So if you're joining live here on Facebook, it's on a couple different channels. Just feel free to make a comment and, let us know that you're here. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll go ahead and go over those. So Bill and Mimi are going to be sharing about government contracts, and here they are, Bill and Mimi. I'm so excited. I can see Mimi, can't really see Bill. There you are. Yes. Yes. So with their business Gifted Hands Cleaning Service, they've been working with government contracts. So they're really those experts. So for me, I'm really excited here. So Bill and Mimi, I know that when people go for government contracts, even friends of mine that are business owners, they go in and they are thinking, oh, this is just like, talking with a business and, kind of just setting this up and just having a conversation and closing the deal. And that is definitely not how it works.
Right.
There's so many things to prepare before that. And if you could just let us know, kind of like, that's what we're here for today, is to really find out, what do I do before I even attempt to make that first look?
Right.
So yeah. Any thoughts, please?
Oh man, so government contract is it's a lot of good, and there are some opportunities that you might have to pass on. So
Mhm.
for us, when we first started in it, it was just another opportunity for us. 6, 7 years ago, when we started our business, we were able to kind of get the certifications and everything that was needed. So the first thing you got to ask yourself is, what are you selling?
Mhm.
Right, and what kind of industry are you in? So with that being said, then you're able to make those next decisions. Okay, is my business going to be um advantageous as far as going into government contracting, or should I stay in the private sector, or should I do a little bit of both?
So you
So
may not even want to go in that direction. Is that what you're saying? That could be a possibility.
Yeah. And that
Mm,
might not be your niche.
mm,
Excuse me.
nice.
Not everybody wanna, I mean, it's a lot of people think that you don't have to that government is just for like certain businesses, but really between the state and the government, like they literally need everybody. They need you, they need us, they need everybody. And they use a host of like different things, and you'll be surprised. I'll be like, oh my gosh, like I can, everybody is a part of the state, the
Mhm.
government. So and when you say like what's the beginning, let's start off by having a business, making sure you're
Mhm.
licensed and everything. You do need to be connected to the right people. And when I say to the right people or the right networks, maybe getting connected like with the SBA,
Mhm.
like different network, SBDC,
Mhm.
those programs, they can really get you jump started.
Mhm.
I will say, getting connected with the SBA, they don't play. So if you're going to be dedicated, you have to be
Yeah.
dedicated to the task, because they're going to be on it. They're very like timely when they're having their meetings. You miss them, you can miss a lot. So
yeah, so with the SBA is basically the government branch, that Small Business Administration. So under that, you'll have different local branches.
Mhm.
In Sacramento, ours is called SBDC, I believe, and they're the one who are responsible for helping you get the certifications.
Mm.
They are a great tool and a resource for those that are trying to get on with the government contracting, because they will help you get the certifications
I see.
at no cost.
mhm.
So for the certifications, a lot of it is uh, uh, disadvantaged businesses. You have the small business set aside that the government is responsible for making sure that money is set aside just for these businesses that are disadvantaged.
Mhm.
So whether you're a minority, you're woman owned, I mean, it's a host of different qualifications that put you in those different brackets. So based on what you certify for, you'll have a set aside that's kind of entitled to that group. So, for example, if you're a minority woman-owned business, which is what we are,
Mhm.
um, there are set aside specifically for the woman-owned minority businesses that only that pool whoever's is going after the contract can only come out of that pool of that category. And so it makes it a little easier where it's not thousands and thousands of people going after that one contract, but instead it's a small group of people that's going after that. And they also have the veteran owned businesses, so that is strictly for veterans, right? So you have to go through that certification. So if you're a veteran, thank you for your service. So you're able to go through and get a certification as a veteran-owned small business. And so when you are doing the certification process, then you will be put in that pool that only uh, uh, veterans can kind of go and get those
Mhm.
contracts. So I think you understanding your business and
Mhm.
knowing, okay, maybe I will have to pivot just to make sure I'm more at an advantage uh, versus just my regular business model might not fit
Mhm.
into what I'm trying to do. So everybody knows the government is the largest consumers, right? They
Mhm.
spend the most money, so they basically have money and funds for everybody or everything you can
Mhm.
think of. So almost maybe 9 out of 10 times your business is in that budget that the government have set aside.
So Bill, you're saying the first step would really be to be a part of the Small Business Association, go over there and make sure
Administration.
that
So
you're
yeah, SBDC. So they
Mhm.
got different ones. Um,
Depending
um,
on your area. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
depending on your area. So you will essentially you can go to the SBA website, and then from there you'll be able to kind of get the instructions to get your local branch, and then
And
your
they're the
local.
ones that are going to help you kind of see where your business qualifies or something like that. And then you mentioned woman-owned business, a business that you
Certification.
have. Is there a certain percentage that that's supposed to be in order to qualify as a woman-owned business if you're working in partnership?
If you're a partner, yeah.
51%. So
51%.
51% of the business has to be owned by a woman. So our
Mhm.
structure, we're a corporation. So my wife owns 51% of the business,
Mhm.
and I own the other 49%.
I see.
So then it allow us to qualify as a minority business,
Mm.
woman-owned business. So you can set it up different ways. So if it's like 5, 6 different partners uh, to get that minority status, you have to have a minority woman
Mm.
or individual that's a minority to qualify, but you can have a bunch of different partners, but the higher percentage has to go to that individual that's qualified.
I see. So that's a good step one is to make sure you're structured properly, figure out your niche, get part of the SBA. And then so after that, after you've identified that, so what would be your next step after that? You mentioned something about certifications. Is that part of the certification process? Is there something after that?
Yes, being woman owned, that's a certification. And then you have other certifications, like if you're a small business. So you have a small business certification, woman owned. There's MBEs that are like Bill was saying, minority business. There's a host of them.
A lot of
So
acronyms.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. The
yes.
government is famous for that, isn't it?
Yeah, but those certifications help you, like Bill said, put you in a certain bracket where things will literally just come to you because if there's money set aside for small businesses and the government they have money allocated just
Mhm.
for you. So it don't always have to go to the big businesses. So say they need something and they need something like need to do a
Mhm.
sorry a request for a quote or something like that. And it's only, they're supposed to give, business to a small business. So this money has to go to a small business. They may reach out to you personally, or they may just add you to the, excuse me, to go and bid on a contract. So, but they will let you know, it'll come to you.
I see.
Because of the certifications, because of your
Mhm.
level of certifications. But it's good to have those certifications because there's different, like you get percentages off. It's to set aside, like what Bill was talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. Yeah. So is there, I've heard that like sometimes you have to get a specific number that the government can use that identifies your business. Is that accurate?
Definitely the EIN number. Is that what you're speaking of?
So that could be one of them. Yeah, because that's for your business, right? Your
Mhm.
EIN.
So
Yeah.
everything is based on your certification. That the number that you have to be concerned about to qualify is the percentage of the business that's owned by that individual. So if there's 10 people and only one is a veteran, the veteran has to control the larger percentage of the company to certify. So I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about, but that's the only number that really matter is whoever's qualifying for that minority status that or whatever status they're going for. The individual has to control the majority of the company has to be owned by that individual.
Okay, so that's on just identifying your business and to with the certifications, that would be the percentage to certify there. And then after that step, how do the people, is that how the government knows through your certifications that you qualify? And then so from that, is there anything that's required, that we have to not necessarily maybe
Register.
apply for, or is there something that says that, okay, like this is the number, this is the what would the number be? Maybe like
There's
an identification number for your business or
identification.
something like that. Yeah.
Definitely. So there's a website called sam.gov, and that's where
Okay.
you will register at. And so that's a mandatory step. You have to
Could
get
you do that before you even go to the SBA?
they will help you do that.
Oh, they can help you do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, that's all
but
part
on
of the
your
service.
own strength, you can do that as well. Register on there, but it's more easier when you get the help because they can guide you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like beginning with the SBA, they really walk you through steps you don't think that your business need or
Nice.
know that your business need, but like literally, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're really running a business when you like, oh, you need this insurance, you need this type of certificate. We apply some for so many different certifications, and it look like you're on these websites constantly. They all look the same, but
Oh,
they're
yeah.
all different they're all different websites. And you're
Yeah.
like, I could have sworn I was just on this website, but no, it's there's a difference in all of them. So yes, sam.gov is a necessary step. It's the first
Okay.
step that you should register your business on. And maybe that's how you get the identifier that you're speaking about. So it's not necessarily a number, but that's where the government goes to see if you are a business. And even with the SBA, they go on there to make sure you're still registered yearly on there, when they have to make sure that your business is, up to par and all that. So yeah, they check there, and that's where the government will go and see like who's qualified. I wanted to also get in where you were saying about what they were saying about the 51% even being woman owned. A lot of times when these contracts come out or bids come out, they ask for, they want to make sure whoever the person, whatever they're looking for, whether it's a small business, like how you qualify. If you only got 5 employees, then you fall in that category. But the 51% person, if it's woman owned, minority owned, they have to be in charge of the daily tasks. You have to have the last say so, everything. So you can't just be like, I think I'm the one in charge. No, he handles that, but you have to say, yeah, no, I have the last say so, or those things. You have to be in charge of daily. It asks all those questions.
The true 51% of the situation, the true 51%.
And that's a big differentiator. So the number you're asking for is your certification number. So when you get certified, you have a number, and it's a portal that you will get these contracts, and only those individuals that have access can get to those. So for the most part, you got to remember that the the certifications puts you in a group, and that group has access to uh, the portal that, whatever, for example, with the county have their own portal, state, federal government, they all have their own portal, but you are essentially getting under that certification that you have is what verifies you, and there is a number that's attached to those
Oh,
certifications, but it verifies you that you are certified. So there's an expiration date on those certifications. So some of them
Yes.
are 2 years, 3 years, depending on which one. So if you're not certified, it will automatically kick you out
kick
and
you out.
certified.
Oh,
So I don't know if we're answering the question
mhm,
correctly. If you're looking for the
mhm.
number. The two numbers you gotta be concerned about is, as a minority or as a woman owned, are you the controlling percentage? And also the certification number is the number that you get once you become certified. And only that number is eligible to go through and bid and do all these different things. Because if you do win the bid, they'll ask you for your certification number
Mm.
to put it on there.
So it's kind of like those are some of the hoops that you have to go through, so to speak, in
Yeah.
order to even get to the playing field where everything's at.
Yes.
So how do you actually, after you've done all of that, now you're in the running, so to speak, for your government contract. How do you know when the government contracts are available?
Good question. So there's procurement pages. I mean, yeah, websites. So, and there's like many of them. I'm always having to sign up for a new procurement page. And just when I think I'm a part of every single last one of them, we have to sign up for another one. And a lot of times you cannot even bid unless you're a part of their procurement page. But the main ones are like Cali Procure, SAM.gov, and these are websites where you see that government bids come in, whether it's statewide or government wide. You see them all on there. So you can go on there. The Cal Procure is a site you can just go on, and it's pretty explanatory. You can go on there and look and see about what contracts are available. You can put in keywords to what you're looking for, whether you're selling or trying to get business, whatever.
Mhm.
Like us, we're looking for janitorial work, so
Mhm.
that's what we type in.
Right.
But yes, those are some of the sites.
So then you're saying after you do all of this, then you make sure to get on these procurement pages, so then you're able to receive the information or even to be in the running. So you could be certified and all of that, but you're all like, I'm not getting anything. It's because you're
Yeah,
not on the
but
pages
yes,
to be able
their
to receive
email,
the information. Like,
they come to your email a lot of times. Like, this is a new
mhm,
bid that's out. Make sure you go. Another thing I want to add too is that
mhm,
sometimes these people reach out directly to you. And you may not
mhm,
be the only one because they have to have sometimes like a minimum of two
right,
to three people to bid on a contract.
mhm,
But if they reach out to you, even if it's not concerning the kind of field of work that you do, make sure that you email them back to let them know, like, I would love to. And that just kind of keeps your name flowing versus just not responding to a bid
yeah,
at all. But you want them to make sure that you're being seen all the time. So like, oh yeah, I would
mhm,
love to bid, but this is not for us, or we don't provide those services, you
I
know.
see,
So
And
I see.
everything is about relationship. So if you get those certifications and just think they're gonna come looking for you, your chances are very slim that you will win those
Right.
contracts. So essentially, you gotta be proactive. So once you get your certifications, the next step is you can do cold calling, introducing yourself
yeah,
to potential and on these, a lot of these websites, they will show you who won the last contract.
yes,
Mm,
They'll give you all the information because it is the state or government. Essentially, everything is on
right.
full display. So
Mhm,
you're able to see how much this person won the contract for last time, what they charge, etc. And that makes you uh, basically that's part of your homework.
mhm,
You're able to, based on those on that information, you're able to kind of make sure you put in a competitive bid. One of the things too, some of the drawbacks I was add to that is the state, because it's the state or the government, essentially to do a thing where it goes to the lowest bidder.
mm,
yes,
So whoever's going to come in at the lowest, no questions asked, you will get it.
uh,
So that's something that a lot of people just think because it's the government, they're going to charge whatever and they're going to get it. So you
mm,
got to really be I want you to say you can't. There's no way you can be competitive and get a government contract. You have to literally just
You gotta take it.
you
It's a
gotta
sacrifice
yeah you
sometimes.
gotta be. So that's the some of the drawbacks that you have to have the experience and
Right.
the know how to navigate around these. There are ways that you can potentially negotiate with them. It's very
Mhm.
rare.
Very rare.
God has blessed us since we've been doing this. We've been able to negotiate some
Mhm.
terms,
Mhm.
some of the contracts we have gotten, but they can only do it for so long. So you definitely have to build those relationships. So network and doing all these different things. So if you just think they're going to give it to you, you're not going to get it. So you cannot just get it and wait and get your certification and wait. You have to kind of get your
You have to
certification.
be active in developing those relationships, and also from what you're saying, it sounds like you really have to know your pricing. You have to know your services. You have to know how to prices, especially like if you're a small team and you
Mhm.
go out for a bid, and you put it low, but then it's like, oh my God, I didn't even cover enough for the payroll,
Yeah,
on that, or I was close, or something. Yeah, really knowing how
yeah.
to price is going to be seems to
Because
be.
once you sign those
You
papers,
stuck.
you're
Mhm.
basically stuck.
You got to
So
do it at
And
that price.
that in small print on the contracts, they tell you, once you sign the papers and say that you're going to provide this service, there is no backing out. There is no saying
you got to
that,
fulfill
no
it.
changing the prices. That's the price and that's it.
Yeah.
Mm,
So what I would advise somebody that's going into
mhm,
for government contracts, uh, some of the things that I feel to kind of give you a better opportunity would be just simply if it's a year contract, you could
mhm,
probably work with it, but sometimes they'll do like a 3 year contract
mhm,
and the two other years extensions each year. So then you end up getting a 5 year contract, but you have to, if you're locking in for 3 years, you got to factor in cost of living.
right.
Everything has to go up, inflation. So you have to factor those prices year over year into that price.
Mhm,
So if you don't do that,
Yeah.
you are going to be in some hot water, especially if you have a team.
mhm,
Granted, if you are a mom and pops or individual, that really don't matter because you don't have that much of a.
mhm,
But if you have a team, a small team, large team, however, you definitely want to make sure that you are prepared for that. If not, you're going to be in some hot water, like I said. And the main thing is they're always on the net 45,
mm,
right?
Mhm.
So the government says you come in here, you do this work or provide this service, we buy this product from you. We're not paying you until 45 days after. So
yeah,
you also have to have cash flow to be able to float that cost because
mm,
then that's for us, we do payroll every 2 weeks. So that's almost 3 pay periods that
yeah,
we have to kind of float that
woo,
bill,
Yep.
yeah,
right? Maybe almost four. And so if you don't have enough cash flow coming in, it's not going to be a good thing, especially if you
yeah.
Mhm.
low bid it.
Yeah, that's something to really think about.
Yeah, I so remember that when I was managing the skilled nursing facilities, and there was a point in time where the budget wasn't signed yet with the state, and the Medi-Cal payments that we were supposed to receive didn't come in for like 6 months
Oh my God.
because of budget issues.
Yep.
So especially with government contracts like you're talking about, you have to be mindful to have that cash available to
Hmm.
float for, kind of figure out how many months, possibly, and like you said, certain pay periods. So making sure that, financially you're in a stable position to be able to request and go for the contract, to be
Hmm.
able to know if I do this, can I cover things like you said on it, what, net 45 or something like that?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So making sure, knowing that as a baseline, okay, do I have enough for a net 60 just to create a cushion?
Hmm.
To be able to cover that. So, yeah, it's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a couple times where we had to like, well, just starting out when we were like a
Mhm,
solo shop and going, for those kind of, we was a little bit over our head, I guess.
mhm.
I remember I remember us asking them like, how are we supposed to survive? Like we're a
Yeah.
small business, like we barely got
Yeah.
how we gonna get paid? Like
Yeah.
this why we expecting to get this job so we can,
Mhm.
But we could not sustain in the beginning because we were small. But if you got that reserve, that'll help you.
So then when you're on these procurement lists, you get on the list, you see something that you believe that you can satisfy and you want to go for it and do that. So what some of the processes that you went through when you identified this is one, like say you look on those lists now and you see this is one that I think we could do. So what would be like the process that you would go through when you've identified it?
It is a process because I am a me and my husband are both researchers, but I'm a really, he called me a little investigator. Sometimes I'm investing. I mean, investigating a lot. Like I'm looking at everything. Like Bill said, on some of these sites, you can see who won the last bid.
Yeah.
So you're looking into all that. What did they bid last time? Who's the current person that is, providing the service or the products and supplies that they're asking for?
Mhm.
What they're doing now, and even if it's worth going for, it may look good, but you may not, once you run the numbers and everything, it might not make no sense at the end of the
Right.
day. So you might have to make that decision like, nah, I'm not going to go for that, or I'll go ahead and go
Mhm.
for it. See what we do if you want to break even or if you don't.
Yeah.
But also, you want to also look to see who's all bidding on it. If there's even a lot of people bidding on it, because like Bill was saying, it's going to go to the lowest bidder a lot of times. So is it even worth your time, investing in it or not? So there's a lot of paperwork. A lot of times, you have to download. So when you download it, it tells you what they're looking for in specific, how much they will pay. Sometimes
Yeah.
they'll tell you that. Also, like how often they want services, or what they're looking for, which is the scope. And
Mhm.
so those things you want to make sure. And also, it's back to the certifications if you're qualified to even bid
Mhm.
for it, right?
True.
So it's asking you to fill out all these paperwork and certifications as far as your business license, articles of incorporation, things like that. If those things
Mhm.
are not, that would disqualify you, especially if you cannot submit those papers when it comes
Right.
down to the day of you turning in the bid.
Mhm.
So when you're turning in the bid, they have a specific day when it's due. You have to pay attention to if there's a mandatory pre-bid conference, which is if we got to do a walkthrough, they want you to show up and be a part of that. If you're not a part of that, if it's mandatory, if you no,
Yeah.
there's literally we went for one time, Athena, and
1 minute late.
literally I wouldn't even
Woo!
say a minute late. You got to give yourself time. Like we was in line, that 1 minute went by, and
Yeah.
so walking through the door, they clink, they gonna lock it up and be like, no, we cannot. It's not an equal opportunity. If we let you in, we got to let everybody else in that's
I
late,
see.
and they have no. They
So
face
be
it.
ahead of time.
Yeah, they're very on time. Like, yeah, if you're late, then sorry, a loss of opportunity for you. So those are the things you want to make sure you pay attention to, and just all the documents that they're going to ask you to submit. I want to give another example. We were going for like a $10 million dollar contract, and we thought we had that, but at the end of the day, they wanted you to have 43 employees, which
Mm,
means we couldn't have did it by ourselves, or we would have
right.
subcontracted with someone else.
Right.
So 43 employees because they had so many different buildings, and $10 million sound like a lot,
Yeah.
but once we ran the numbers over the course of 3 years, it wasn't that much money, right? And
Yeah.
so they
Yeah.
was really wanting to pay you pennies to the dollar an hour, like to have all these 43 employees working every single day. And this is a Monday through Friday,
That's 7 days.
Wow.
7 days a week. So
24 hours.
24 hours, and you gotta be like even being on call. So
You got to run your numbers.
you
So then you know.
better run those numbers because
Mhm.
you'll be stuck, especially like as a new business, you'll be thinking like, oh my gosh, $10 million, that will really put me in position. Like, people think $1 million is a lot. So you look at 10 million and be like, oh my gosh, I'm going for it. And it
Yeah.
sounds all good. And I'll work the mess out of that contract. Oh my gosh, I was telling you, I'm gonna investigate everything, but
Yeah.
after carefully reading over everything, you think it's a lot of documents, and if you don't do your due diligence, you will be stuck.
Oh
So
yeah.
we later found out, not later found out, but after reading
Mhm.
through the contract, you have to be they needed us to be, what is it called, Bill? Union. They want us to be
Mm.
part of the union, and we're not unified, not yet, anyways. But so you had to be a part of the union. And
Yeah.
that was one so we was out at that point. And at
Yeah.
that time, so we were trying to get unified. The guy was like, I'm going on vacation. The guy who handles it,
Oh,
handles it,
oh, it's not
vacation,
gonna
I'll
happen.
handle it. I'll handle it when I get back.
Yeah.
We still ain't heard from him. I don't know if he's back from vacation or what. So this is like last year. So
Oh no.
yeah, so those are the things you want to just look at when you're going over. So a lot of times when I do pull the bids, I normally give them to Bill. So because he's gonna look over the specifications and
Yeah.
see, oh, this is a good one, or we can go for it or can't go for it. And a lot of times, even though if he says it's no good, I'm still doing my investigation.
To investigate a little bit more.
And be like, no, yes, let's go for it, or no, this is a
Yeah.
good one,
So really it was your first piece of investigation is, that, identifying those, but looking at who won it before. Like
Mhm.
that's a really good indicator of your pricing,
Yeah.
all of that.
Mhm.
And, researching that business, seeing, what structure that business has and all of that, and then
Yeah.
going from there. But from what you're saying, it really sounds like you have to sit down with those documents and really read what it is and make sure you fully understand what the bid is, like what is it that they need, and making sure that you've met all of that criteria. It's not just like, oh yeah, here you go, this is one that we want, it's so many $1 million, here you go, let's sign for it.
Yeah.
It's like, no,
Mhm.
you really have to take that time, like Bill was saying, once you sign on that dotted line, you
That,
have to provide those services at that price point, even if maybe you're going to have to go out and get other
yeah,
business to be able to cover that,
that's the truth. Yeah,
so
that is the truth.
yeah.
Yeah. I also want to add, Athena, it sounds like, when you're going for the government, it sounds so big
Mhm.
time, but they are very nice people. They often put their information. I always see, like, have we worked with this person? That's
Mhm.
another thing I look for in a contract. Have we worked with this person before? Like, do they
Mhm.
know us?
Mhm.
So it makes you a little bit more comfortable to call them. But even if you don't, they are like delegated for this contract, so they don't mind asking questions. You
Mhm.
can call them. I will bug them and be authentic with them. Like, I don't understand, like, you guys are asking for this, but then again it says this, so can you explain to
Yeah.
me like how to do this? And then, yeah, well, we're coming for you guys for services, so this is how you do it, like that, and they'll run it down to you. And it's okay to keep them on the phone for a little while if you want to
Mhm.
make sure you get clarification and good clear information. It's okay, they're not bothered by it. And I'm constantly like, I'm so sorry, like, this is my first time doing this. They are so, like, they're very humble, like, and
Very helpful. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
That's good. That's good to hear. It's, because sometimes when you're a consumer trying to get something and you're on the hold forever,
yeah.
it's a different scenario with the business owners,
That is
Yeah.
and
crazy though,
they're
because
Mhm.
when they put their information on there, they have a number, so you don't even have to be on hold for too long. You're
Oh,
getting
that's good.
directly to that person because
Yeah.
they know about this contract.
Mhm.
This is the contract that they're working on right now, and making sure that everything is okay for this, right?
Yeah,
And
and they're probably the one responsible for that, or any of the follow-up, or when the bid
Mhm.
comes through, working with the
Yeah,
contractor and all that.
yeah, and sometimes they give you a little bit more insight too when you give them a call, because they can tell you, like, you might want to make sure you have this, although it's not asking for this, you might want to go ahead and submit that, because that'll kind of help you,
Mhm.
be on top or just be on your game. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
Expedite the process.
yeah, because
Mhm.
they can guarantee, like, I've seen this before, and so what they're gonna do is come back and ask you for this and that. Just go ahead and make sure you just put it all on there. Just
Mhm.
add this to it. So it's helpful information. It's sometimes it's just
Mhm.
good to make that point of contact so they can know,
Mhm.
your name is ringing. That's how you're,
Yeah.
like you were saying, do the cold calling and everything. So when you're calling these people, you want to make sure they hear your name. Like, I'm so and so with this business and that business. That way okay, I remember hearing this business. You guys made a lot of times, when we do get contracts, a lot of times they say you guys made a good impression. We
Mhm.
liked how your proposal looked, or we like how you guys presented yourself when you came in. Although your bid was a little bit high, we went with you because you look different, right? So
Mhm.
you came a little bit different. So that's why we pride ourselves a lot of times, like, on our customer service, or how we look, making sure we're uniformed when we're out there, different things like that. All this stuff, although it sounds like, minuscule
Mhm.
things, but no.
It's your brand.
It's your
As
brand.
a business, like,
Brand.
for your marketing and your brand and that impression that you have on them. So going through and like you said, Mimi, you're going through all of the documents, making sure everything's there, putting the package together, getting it over there, following the deadlines that they have. Like Bill said, don't be a minute late.
Yeah.
Like, if you're there 10 minutes before, you're late.
Yeah. Seriously.
Something like that. Yeah, and just
Yeah,
making sure
early.
that happens. And now you've sent out, you applied, and you wait. So what is the process there? Are they good at communicating with you? Do you have to be the one to, ask about stuff like on?
There's nothing wrong with
Mhm.
following up. I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with following up. It's a good thing that once again, your name is ringing. So like you want to
Mhm.
make sure you're making that contact and they hear you. So it's like, dang, give the hands, keep on calling. Let's look at their proposal. Oh, this why they keep calling. They know they look good. You know what I mean? If you're a
Yeah.
little bit confident, but following up is okay. I was gonna say something else about following up, but go ahead. Kind of lost my chain of thought.
Lots
I
to think
think
about.
Yeah, seriously.
so with the bid and stuff. A lot of times they are precise on turn it in this date. We'll
Mhm.
review it. Would give you the whoever wins.
Yeah.
They'll be awarded the contract
And
on
Mhm.
this date.
no.
So some of it you can call and follow up. That's okay.
Mhm.
Some of it you probably won't even get a hold of anybody because they're
Mhm.
so precise on
Yeah.
sticking to the time frames,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
So you do this pre-bid conference or the walkthrough on this date. You turn your bid in. You have questions. You turn the questions in on this date, and then you go ahead and submit your bid this day. And so it's a timeline.
Mhm.
So a lot of it is walk. You don't have to do all that other stuff.
Mhm.
You need to just kind of do what you're supposed to do on the meeting those time frames
Yeah.
and submitting your proposal in a timely manner, and then
Mhm.
they will let you know who win. Especially if you have 17, 23.
Yeah.
The ones we've been going to lately, you get there last time, the one before this one, it was 17 people. This one was like 30 people. So it's so
Mhm.
many people, they don't have time to go back and forth. So that's why they
Mhm.
kind of stick to this timeline.
To that. So staying organized is going to be on the top of your priority, is staying organized with time frames
Yeah,
and
But you
making
100%.
know
sure
what?
that you. Mhm.
A lot of times you don't even have to follow up with them. Like once you learn how to do this government contracting, you will realize that you do it and then you just leave it
Go
because
look for the next
sometimes
one.
like sometimes they come out in the beginning of the year, but they're not looking for nobody until about June. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Or say November or so. So you just you submit it and you leave it because
Mhm.
going after it, keep checking on it. They're gonna be like, yeah, you look at your specifications, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I wanted to add what I had forgot what I was going to say was turning your bids in. When we first started
Mhm.
and we had took a sometimes you have to walk them in. They're specific. You cannot email them in. They want you to walk it in nice and sealed. Have this written on there and
Mhm.
everything. It has to be sealed, sometimes double sealed. They're very
Mm.
specific.
Wow.
And so I remember we walked in, it walked in when I think we took some chocolate candy or some candy and flowers or something, because this is what you learn a lot of times when people do these YouTube videos. They like, you take a gift for them so it makes you memorable or anything like that. They declined us on that. They're like, no, we don't need your candy. Don't try to
Yeah.
find favor with us because we
That's
just
that's other kind of marketing.
yeah.
In like the
So you
public sector.
exactly. That's gonna say you could do that on the private sector side, but when it comes down to the government and state, they're like across the board. Just give us the application.
It's a
Or,
favoritism thing. They don't. They want to
yeah,
make sure, like you said earlier, no 1 second after the time,
they are not
because
playing.
then it's showing favoritism to you over somebody else, or creating an exception where
Mhm.
no exception.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So then you put it through, like you said, go with the time frames, and especially with the organization. Earlier in the conversation, you were talking about like your business license, and all of those things, how those come up, or your certifications, making sure you stay organized to make sure that you get those done in time, that you do stay in the pools, that you need to stay in, and making sure that all of your documents are in order. So keeping up with those things is going to be extremely important. And then, so now you've put the bid in, and then they come back and you get awarded, like, or you get approved, or something like that. So what happens after that, and you actually
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting when you do
like, break out the champagne. No.
You want to make sure you have whatever they were asking for. If it's products and supplies, or if it's a team of people that they needed, whatever it is, you want to make sure you got that team, because if you don't and your team done left you or something, you gotta go find them.
We're having a hiring party.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I think too, once you get all of those, once you get the contract, there are still steps. So they want to verify your insurance. They are expecting a certain dollar amount of liability insurance. They want you to they want to verify. So they do all of that. And then on the back end, they want to verify that you are who you say you are business wise. So they want to verify your insurance. They want to verify that you are a minority business. And they want to verify that you have workers' comp, especially if you're providing a service. And then once all of those kind of clear, because once you awarded the contract, they give you some time to get all those documents to them. So once you get all those documents to them, then they'll be able to kind of say, okay, yeah, and then you have a start date. So on that start date is when you'll probably have to provide all the employees, and sometimes they'll want a list of individual that are going through there. Depending on the clearance level, you might need to get just regular background check or live scan to get into some of these buildings. So those are all things that is kind of like post, winning the bid. You have to kind of furnish those things. So it's very nuanced, and depending on what it is and what contract, state, county, federal, all those things, depending on who, they have different criteria that has to be met. So you just have to kind of go through that rabbit hole of documentations, and so you better know, and you better have all those documentations that you say you have before you bid it on the contract.
Or have them in the works, because
they will disqualify you if you don't have any of those contracts.
And they don't mind rebidding.
They'll be like, you're gone. Let's move on. They're not going to wait. So it's like when we talked about organization. So making sure like you have all that stuff there and ready. And if it's coming due or the due date's coming, contacting your insurance person to make sure that you get the new certificates or anything like that from your insurance, or proof of your insurance, and all of that kind of stuff.
I also want to add too that there is to the websites to register on. There's another website called Federal Business Opportunities, and they have all the government contracts that are $25,000 and up. So there's some of these websites procurement pages that you can go on, and they're just all the bids. But they have, like, if you're big enough to hold something that's $25,000 and up, then you can go on that, register on that procurement page and make sure that you're getting them to your email. And when we say email, make sure that your email, because I know in business, as a business owner, you're always, improving and growing. So it's been a couple of times where we have changed not necessarily changed our email, but as over the years, like I said, you grow, but our email has changed and been somewhat the same. And you'll be, if they're nice enough, they'll reach out to you. And like, we tried, sending you an email back. And so you just want to make sure that stuff, stays the same, or make sure it's updated in the like sam.gov. You want to make sure all that stuff is always updated, because if it's not, and you're just going to be missing an opportunity. Like you said, you'll be looking like, why am I not receiving the like, what is going on?
Happened, right?
Yeah, like, it's dry over here.
Something dried up. What happened?
You just want to make sure all your stuff is legit and still active.
Making sure that you've covered all your bases, that everything's updated, stay with the current information, all of that kind of stuff. So is there anything you feel that we missed in the general process of obtaining government contracts? Would those be
Um,
like the key, kind of like the key things to know and understand, in general? I know, like Bill said, every single area is very nuanced and there's so many things within each area, but do you think we covered the
the
the,
basis.
the high level, kind of concepts of that?
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
I do want to add that every contract is different. I mean, once you get with a company, you'll learn them and
Mhm.
how they move. And I'm like, yeah, we did this last time, so we know. Like some things you just know, like if you did a bid on a building or something before,
Mhm.
you just I've walked this building, I know the schematics, I know the square
Mhm.
footage and things like that. Those are things I don't need. So sometimes you'll see that some people just leave the walkthrough or whatever. I'm just like, oh, okay.
You're
But
like, no, I don't want to do that. I'll
yeah,
see you.
because they know what it's like. But you'll learn them. But at the end of the day, a lot of these contracts be different. So wherefore one agency was only asking for $1 million insurance. This now they're asking for $5 million insurance.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you just want to make sure you just key into those things. It's reading is fundamental. Make sure you do
Oh
your
yeah, reading is very important, and really understanding what it is that you're reading in those, because sometimes it may be more legalese, like,
yep.
just
Seriously.
understanding, wait a second,
Yep.
what is this?
Yeah.
So it's just how it's communicated. So making sure that you're reading everything and understanding what it is that you're reading is going to be very important. So
And it's
yeah,
not so much
fantastic.
sometimes. Sometimes me and Bill have to break some things up and, go ahead. You take this half and you look at that. You look at
Mhm.
you look at what they need from us. I'll look at what the scope is, or flip flop. I'll look and see what documents they need from us. He'll look at the scope because like we kind of know our roles a little bit,
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Bill takes care of the field. So he know what we can provide in the
Mhm.
field. You know what I'm saying? I know
Yeah.
Yeah.
documentation wise what we have, what certifications we have, if we're up to date, and
Mhm.
things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, because historically, when I was working with the nonprofit organizations, we did do bids for construction, like
Mhm.
for them to come and like build out the teen center. When I was up there with the Boys and Girls Club. So like you said, the blind bid was there. It went to the lowest bidder, but we had an idea of who it was. It's like the largest contracting company in the area was usually going to be the one to get it, because they could get that price point lower, and they were willing to donate some of their time to the organization. So yeah, there's that process to go through, and you really have to be mindful of taking the steps, reading in detail, understanding what it is that you're delivering. With any of your customers, you want
Mhm.
to make sure that you're fulfilling on the agreement that you made with them. Like you said, customer service is a high priority, and that's what keeps you in business, is those relationships and serving and delivering on what it was that you agreed upon. So especially with government, there's no like bartering or leeway, or like kind of adjusting things after the contract, like you were talking about.
Mhm.
It's set. So they're going to be very, very strict on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Something else I want to add,
mhm.
like I said, a lot of people don't know that they can go for government contracts. They don't just want janitorial services
Right.
or just, they buy stuff like the oddest things. Like if you're selling to the state, they buy
Hmm.
the most oddest things, and you'd be like, what they gonna do with
And
that?
I've seen some for like catering,
Catering,
like
gloves, healthcare stuff,
Wigs,
all kind of things. Like you'd be
you're
like,
like, I didn't even know that.
what do with a dinette table? Like what you need
headphones.
dog shoes for? Like, what is happening? But they ask for the most oddest things, and with making that point is they spend over $1 trillion annually. So imagine
Hmm.
how much money that is. That's a lot of money that has to be spent for
Right.
businesses. So y'all don't be lax on the contracts. Get out there, look what you're looking for, see what you're looking for, and find your niche and go for it. Go for
Yeah.
it. Don't be scared.
Yeah. And like you said, like one of the first things, the SBA in your area,
Mhm.
being a part of that so you can get assistance during this.
Yes.
And I think Bill and Mimi, you have a worksheet or something along those lines that you're going to be able to provide to, the people watching this. If any of you would like that, go ahead and direct message us if you're here on Facebook and let us know your email address. We can do that. And then also, I think we have a link. Let me go ahead and grab that. If I can do two things at the same time here, and I'll put it in the chat for everyone. Let me go to here. But if you go to the Back to Basics page, which I'm going to put up the link here in the comments on, we'll go ahead and find this all over the world. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and share that. But that's where you're going to be able to download the worksheet. So go ahead and save that to your device or on your computer. So you always have that. Mm-hmm. Yep, got it right there. And we have on there about what's happening here. And, you can download those things. You'll learn more about Bill and Mimi and myself and the mission of our organization. I'll read you our mission statement. It's really bringing businesses back to the basics. Sometimes, you've gone along and especially with government contracts, you're like, ooh, I didn't have that in place. I didn't have this in place. And you understand that those basics are really important. So we're helping businesses build their foundation of your vision and your mission, your finance, your sales and marketing, your operations, for growth and profitability. So that's what we're here for. This is what we're building. And we have set up an in-person, if you're here in Sacramento, we're going to have the ability to meet you in person in April. And we have an event coming up on April 19th. And here at the Sacramento Better Business Bureau, and all those details are going to be on that link that you see right there. You're going to be able to go to and be able to understand. So we're going to be talking about understanding the impact of AI in your business. So that's something that you've probably been hearing about. And we're going to be able to talk about that with you so you really understand how it's going to be impacting your company and your organization. So anything else you'd like to add, Bill and Mimi?
Maybe Bill do, but that AI, it's a whole nother ball game, y'all. I'm scared of it. I'm scared of it. So y'all make sure y'all tune in to that or show up so you can come and learn about it, because it's definitely taking business to a whole nother level. It's taking the world to a whole nother level. And I'm seeing it daily that it's getting more and more popular. Like every site is just about using it now. So
yeah. And then how can you use it for your business? So that's what we're going to cover and, be able to get into some details and stuff. So thank you very much. Thank you, Bill and Mimi, for covering this. This is a great topic. We'll be getting information out to everyone and getting the worksheet out, because we covered so much information, but at least here you'll be able to have your step-by-step, on understanding the key takeaways and your next steps. So thank you very much for doing that. And thank you everyone for joining us. And we look forward to coming together again. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.